Hi, today I'm going to show you how this grandma makes her classic pie crust recipe. It's a large recipe that makes 6 pies, and you can't really split it into smaller because it uses a whole egg. You're going to see when you're doing this, you make it with your hands, so make sure your hands, counters, and everything are very, very clean. Less dishes, there's no silly processor to clean up afterwards. Grandma didn't have a processor to make pies with. And when I first started making these pies, either did I. This is the recipe your grandma made, and I'm pretty sure you're going to love it. And it's going to be the one that you go to all the time. You're going to want to make sure that your hands and everything, again, everything's clean because you're in there with your fingers. You're going to want a large bowl, a measuring cup, the recipe ingredients from the blog. And once you get all that together, we'll get started. Here I am scooping up the flour and tossing it in the bowl. I make it level with my fingers before I put it in. Then after that, you add your salt. Spread it around very good so that you don't have too much salt in one section, ending up with somebody getting a salty bit of pie. Then you add the lard, and you're going to spend a couple of minutes breaking it out into pea-sized sections with your fingers. Use a light touch with your hands and just keep working your dough as you notice smaller pieces of lard. Break them up constantly until they get smaller and smaller. Only takes a couple of minutes to do this, and I'm hoping I've left this video at the normal speed, haven't cut out anything, and I'm hoping you'll be able to notice what I mean by the smaller chunks of pie crust and how over time they get smaller and smaller. And you can actually see where the pie crust does get lighter and flakier as things start to incorporate. A long time ago, my mom shared a secret with me to make sure that I have enough lard in my pie crust. Lard is what makes your pie crust richer and also makes it flakier. When you're finishing your pie crust at the end, gather it up and you're going to squeeze a little bit of it gently in your hand. If when it holds together, you know that you've got enough lard in there. If it does not hold together properly, go ahead and add a couple more tablespoons of lard and break it up. See there, it held together properly, so we're good to go. I'm just going to break up a couple of those little chunks I noticed when I was putting it together. I'm going to go and kind of get going. Now we're going to go ahead and start with the wet ingredients. You take an egg, you put it in your measuring cup, beat it up a little bit. Then you're going to add your vinegar, just plain white vinegar from the recipe. And you're going to top it up with very cold water just from the tap. Blend it in together, and here's when I'm going to show you the second part of the technique. You don't dump all the fluid in at once. You drizzle a little bit over top, and you gather up enough pie dough for one pie. You're going to feel it. You're going to see it. If you can look carefully at the video, you can see where some of it kind of clumps up and tells me that it's ready to go into a pie crust. It's got enough moisture in it. Then I flatten it out and add some more. And it happens just as fast. I'm going to gather it up, and there's one ball of pie dough. That particular ball will make enough for a double crusted pie. Add some more water and continue the process. In today's video, I haven't shared how I'm going to roll this pie crust out because this particular batch is ready for my freezer. I'm going to show you how I freeze it. If you're wanting me to show you how to roll out pie crust, let me know and I'll do a very step-by-step instruction video for that as well. Here I'm adding the last of my liquid, and at the end I notice I don't quite have enough. So once I get this done, I'm just going to go grab a couple more teaspoons of cold water, ice cold water in my cup from the tap. I'm going to toss it in so that I don't waste the last of the crumbs without using them. I'm also going to do another video for a single pie, but the thing with the single pie crust is it doesn't have an egg. It's just flour and water. It's very easy. But it doesn't make as much pie crust as this does, so it's not good for a big batch of tarts, or if you're making a slab pie. It's just enough pie crust for one single pie, and I will do that video at another time. Here I am just putting the last little tidbits of dough in with the other balls, binding it up into nice little balls that I'm going to wrap together for the freezer. To wrap them, you just take a chunk of cellophane, place your pie crust down on top and wrap it up. Pretty easy peasy. Having this ahead just takes all the mess away from the day you're baking pies. It just makes it so much easier. You're going to have 3 of them together. There's all the pie crust it makes. I'm going to pop them in a bag. At the bottom of the blog post with the full recipe, I also share some tips and tricks for cleaning, and they're really, really handy. The thing about doing this with your hands is there's hardly any dishes, and really it's saves so much time over the modern food processor.